Hello Crusaders, it's Freddie back, your ham radio Crusader, and I'm back with part 2 of the Allstar training series. We are going to basically pick up right where we left off, with a few exceptions. Let's dive right in. First of all, in part 1, we covered most of the Allstar Link ham VoIP setup on the software on our Raspberry Pi 4. And did all the basic setup from getting our node number from allstarlink.org to installing the software and setting up our account on the Raspberry Pi 4. Now we're going to start dealing with prepping the radio and our sound fob to connect it to the Pi Star and get things going. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Now, this is our radio of choice, the TYT TH9000D that I picked up off of eBay. This one is a used model, as you can tell. And I've already installed the sound fob interface cable, but I'm going to show it to you because I made one homemade this time. In a previous video, which you will see somewhere on the screen come up, you'll see a link for the video that I made when I modified the other TH9000D from a pre-made cable. This time it is one that I made. I ordered these cables from, I believe it was Mauser or Jamico Electronics. I don't know. Once I remind myself what that was, I'll put a link in the description and the part number. But when I get these cables in, this modular end is already on this 6 set of wires. And what makes it inconvenient is they're all the same color. So you got to really be careful and keep track of which one is which. And then I crimp on, I got a DB9 crimp on female. And took each wire and crimped on the female pin and inserted it into the connector. And then I took the connector, and on one side, as it's got an eyelet, and I'll show you on another connector if I have them here close. And that's what I do is I clip out the side of the hole on one side of the two, because the spread of these two holes on the back of the radio is not perfect to the dimensions of these two holes. They're very, very close, but they're not perfect. So if you just notch out the side of that hole, once you go to put the two screws in, you can adjust it side to side until it fits perfectly, sink the screws down, and you're good to go, and it's just as solid as it was brand new. You will see the diagram and the link to the diagram to make a interface cable to wire this into the ARA 1 Plus from Techno by George. But I need you to know this: if you build your own cable, pin 1 starts here and goes in order to pin 6. This will come into play when you reference the diagram to build your own cable. As you're looking down onto the radio, that pin 1 is right here closest to this large capacitor and increases as you go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Towards the back of the radio is pin 6, next to these ferrite beads on your power cords. Once that cable is built and installed, or if you buy the pre-made cable and install it, you just want to make sure you get your power wire back in there correctly. It just slides down into the groove here. And then get your radio cover back on in place. And since this setup I built myself with the DB9 to the little DIN connector, it doesn't come with any screws. So there's 4 screws I took out of the bottom of the radio. These screws also fit these 2 holes in the back. So I used 2 of these screws to hold this connector in. And return 2 of them back into the TYT TH9000D. And I'll put one here and one straight across, so we've got a little bit of cross connect here, because this is going to be an Allstar node. It's not going to be a mobile radio in a mobile environment unless you make it that way. This particular setup's going to go indoors. So now we've got our radio all ready to go. And this is the ARA 1 Plus sound fob made by Techno by George. It comes with a couple of dongles, and this one is the USB, and it comes with the USB end already on it. This will go into the Raspberry Pi. This end normally would come with a DIN, a 6-pin DIN that's here, and on the other end would be a DB25. But in my case, I asked for it to be bare because I knew I wasn't going to build to a DB25. I wired it directly to this DB9 male, so it would plug directly into the back of the radio. And the diagram for this will be in the video description as well. There's a link to my website where there's a complete diagram and schematic for the wiring of up to the sound fob. Now the sound fob, just when you get it, it's just this circuit board right here. Underneath is a thin foam pad with a strong adhesive backing, and when you peel that backing off, I stick it into one of these little project boxes I got off of AliExpress, and it have ends, and I'll take the Dremel tool and just notch out a few holes in the ends and put it all together. I'll show you the finished product when we're done, but I want to leave it open now so that we can go through the setup process. But that adhesive holds it in there really well, and it's about all you need to keep it in place. So meanwhile, we're going to take this DB9 and plug it right into the back of the TYT radio. Just like so. And so that'll just have to sit in there as so. But I wanted everybody to be able to see exactly how well or how everything gets oriented. This is the power wire for the radio. The sound fob connector goes into the back of the radio. This controls PTT, audio in, audio out, COS, or carrier operated squelch. And then the USB will plug into the back of the Raspberry Pi 4. So I want to get things set up and get it onto the Raspberry Pi 4 so that we can fire up the software and get simple USB inside of HamVoIP configured for this radio.
5 minutes later.
Okay, I've got the TH9000D hooked up to the Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is up and running. Now let's take a look at how it's supposed to look while running. Okay, let's do this. Maybe that'll help us look at it a little bit better. This is the TYT TH9000D. Cables into the ARA 1 Plus, and you can see the green light blinking. That's called the heartbeat. That lets you know that it's talking to the Raspberry Pi correctly. The antenna line is hooked up, power line's hooked up. Ironically enough, from our initial setup from the previous video, as soon as I fired it up, I got this, which is what we wanted to hear. We just got to do some sound tests now to make sure everything's working. K85 FMU. So we've got to install and set up Supermon so that we can access the interface to the Allstar setup through a browser. It makes things a little bit easier. It makes things a lot a bit easier. So let's switch over here to... We'll bring up putty and go to this node that we're already started configuring in the last video. Oh, we want to use lowercase. Oh yeah, I used a different password. Then I'm going to have to go look up that password. What is it? Password 2023? It is! So I don't have to go look it up. I just got to start remembering things. Okay. So we need to bring up the instructions. Well, how about let's just go to hamvoip.org and let's look up Supermon. So this would be the original Supermon setup for a first time install on hamvoip. This tells about the features and the ins and outs of Supermon, but we want to jump right into the installation notes, and we're going to enter into the Etsy asterisk directory through putty. So the first thing we've got to do is get into our bash shell and go cd Etsy asterisk and edit the manager.conf file. And we do that by going nano manager.conf, hit enter, and we get this text file that we've got to alter. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to go down and add a secure password. Yes, we're going to hit down arrow till we come down here to general, and we're going to make a change here now while we're here that is not necessarily in this particular how-to, but we're going to take out this semicolon where it says web enabled, because we're going to enable the web port. Display username, yes, okay. And then we're going to come down here to bind address, and we're going to change that. We're going to put a semicolon in front of the first line and take out the semicolon behind the second, or in front of the second line. We're going to come down here to admin where it says secret equals, and we're going to put our password there. For this video, it is capital PASSWORD 2023. And that's all we're going to do here. We're going to hit Control X, yes to save, enter to exit. And let's go back here to the how-to. And then it wants us to restart asterisk by typing in this command, asterisk.sh. Looks like a, oh dear, where'd it go? Script file. Looks like a script file. So let's type in ASTRES.sh. And that will restart our asterisk server. And now we're going to change to the Supermon directory. And you can do that right now if you just select all of this right here. Right click, copy text, go back to your secure shell, your bash shell, and just right click right on that cursor. And you've pasted right in. Hit enter, boom, you're into the Supermon folder now, where it wants us to be. And we're going to edit the allmon.ini file. And we're going to do that by typing in nano space ALLMON.INI, hit enter, and boom, we're into another one. So in this first line where it says 1998, you're going to leave the brackets, but you're going to take out the numbers and you're going to put your node's number there. In this case, it's 576333. And we're going to come down here to password and put in a password of your choosing to log in. It's got to match the one that's in manager.conf. And this time it's password.2020, password capitalized 2023. It's the password for the sakes of this video. And down here where it says all nodes, trust me, this will be relevant here in a minute. We're going to take out this 1998, put in 576333, our current node number. And we're going to leave the rest of it alone for now. Hit Control X, yes to save, and enter to exit. Now we've got an add a password file. So we're already in the Supermon directory. And we're going to remove any existing password file by typing in this phrase. I'm going to copy that, rm space.htpasswd. So let's go back into our bash shell, right click, hit enter. Remove regular empty file, and we're going to put yes, enter. And we've done its bidding. Now we're going to add a HT password file by adding this phrase into the command line. Hit copy text. We're going to right click to paste. Then we're going to hit space, type in admin, because that's the username. You can make it your call sign if you want to. I like to do admin because it's pretty much the same all the way around. And we're just going to add the 1, so we're going to hit enter there. Now it's going to ask for that new password, and just for the sakes of this video, we're going to use the same password we've been using, capital PASSWORD 2023. Hit enter and retype it so you know you got it right. Capital PASSWORD 2023. Enter. Adding password for user admin. So it didn't give us any errors, so we must have gotten it right. And once again here, folks, do not use an exclamation point in any of these passwords or any brackets. I would stay away from special characters altogether. The programming just doesn't like it. You can also add more than one login and password by continuing to follow these directions. But for this video, we're not going to do that. We are going to open a browser and go to the local IP address of our Allstar node, which I'm going to have to look up. So let me exit out of this. And okay, it's 1.205. So we're going to come up here. We're going to type in 192.168.1.205 slash Supermon, SUPERMON, and hit enter. And just like that, we've got ourselves a Supermon interface page. But the thing is, we've got to log in. So we're going to hit login here. Our username is admin. Our password is capital PASSWORD 2023. And don't just hit enter here, folks, or it won't work. Click on the word login. You can save it if you want. And if you're successful, then this will change to the word log out. So you know you're logged in, and you can hit your node number or hit the word all nodes. If you hit all nodes, then your nodes show up, and you can control your Supermon. Your Allstar node. And what we're going to do here first, we're going to go to control, and we're going to hit this drop down until we get to, well, we'll let my computer catch up here. I'm going to go to enable parrot mode and execute so that we can test our audio here. K85 FMU.
85 FMU.
It sounds a little hot to me. It sounds a little hot, so we're going to disable the parrot mode. We're going to execute that. And we're going to go back to our bash shell. And we're going to go, into our bash shell, yes, our SSH session. And we're going to go down to Run Simple USB Tune Menu Application. This helps you fine-tune the ins and outs of your Allstar node. And first thing we want to do is try to set that receive voice level, which is number 2. You can see it right here. But you hit number 2 on your keyboard, hit enter, and talk into your radio, and we should see a voice meter kind of pop up right here, bouncing back and forth, and we want to try to get it to a level that's between this point and this point. K85 FMU. Ooh, yes, it is a little hot. So we're going to hit enter. We see that it's set at 500. So since it's a little hot, we're going to bring it down to about 300. Hit enter. Test it again. K85 FMU. Ooh, way better, way better. Since we like that, we're going to hit enter. Hit carriage return for none because that number's at 300 where we want it. Now we're going to hit W to write that into the memory so that we retain that setting. If you don't write it and you exit out of the menu, you've lost the setting. You can see in here that our transmit audio level method is here. Your transmit DSP levels can be set here. Receive boost if it is enabled. You can toggle an echo mode. So let's hit C. K85 FMU.
K85 FMU.
It almost still sounds just a little bit hot. So I got to wonder if we need that receive booster on. So let's turn that toggle mode, or we're going to toggle that echo mode back off. And let's see about that receive boost. That's B. Let's turn it off and just see what happens. K85 FMU. Well, you know, it'd probably work if I toggle the echo back on. K85 FMU.
K85 FMU.
Okay, so back to a tolerable level, but it's even a little too low. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write my saves here. We're going to go back to receive audio. K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
That's a little low, so we're going to bring that back up again. We're going to hit enter. See that it's at 300. Let's bring it back to 500 and see what that gets us. K85 FMU.
K85 FMU.
It's a little low on the meter, but it sounds really good in the walkie-talkie. Nonetheless, let's bring that up. I'm sorry, let's hit enter there. Let's bring that up to 600. Hit enter. Try it once more. K85 FMU.
K85 FMU.
Test 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's hit enter. Hit 650. And once more. K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
K85 FMU, testing 1, 2, 3.
That may be me a little too close to the microphone as well. Let's let the ID finish. I'll hold it 6 inches away. K85 FMU.
K85 FMU.
That is pleasant. We're going to leave it right there for right now. We're going to hit enter. We're going to hit enter again. We'll hit W and write these savings into the memory. And we're going to leave it there. So we can also manually key carrier operated squelch from here if we wanted to. We can toggle the pre and de-emphasis here if we want to, or a PL filter, or a DCS filter. You can do all kinds of things, but the default was USB invert on the cause from and no on the CTCSS from. So we're just going to leave it there for now. We can tweak these as time goes by, but we've got our levels right where we want them, so we're going to hit 0 to exit this menu. And I'd like to restart the Asterisk server just to be thorough. And you know the Asterisk server's done rebooting when you hear that right there. And then your whole node will tone out. And we have a basic functioning Allstar node. So much so that we can exit out of the admin menu in the SSH session. Go back to our Supermon page. I don't know that it'll work, but we can try connecting. I think we can do an outbound connection by default. We'll have to do some router settings to open a port to allow incoming. But let's try 57788. That is the my Allstar node on my repeater in Preston, Oklahoma. Let's hit connect.
Node 57788. Connection failed.
Okay, it didn't like that. I thought we could connect outbound right off the bat. So let's just go into my router. 5198, 5199. It's Echolink, Allstar. Well, I don't know what happened there. I said 4566. Yeah. Okay. And apply it. I think that's all. 4570, 4572, that one's 4566. So let's hit OK. And we'll sign out. And let's restart. Let's just restart the whole server. See the radio keying up after it reboots here. See the green light coming on for the heartbeat. Solid burning. And then it should start blinking. There it goes, and there's the red for the PTT. And the transmit light on the radio, I got it set for low power. I don't want to burn things up.
IP address 192.168.1.205.
And that tells you what your local IP address is. So you can access it if you don't know. You know the initial settings for DHCP, so you never know what IP address you're going to get. Okay, let's go back up here to the Supermon page and refresh it, because we should be logged out now, and we are. So let's hit log in. This username is admin, and then the password that we created. See, I hit enter there, and it didn't work, so I've got to do it again. You have to click on the login button or it won't work. Supermon 2 is different, but Supermon is finicky. And click on login. And since it says log out, we are in. Now let's see if we can log in to or connect to the Allstar node in Preston. 57788. Hit connect.
Node 57788 connected to node 5763333.
How about that business? Maybe it's you can get an incoming connection, but you can't do an outgoing by default. Not till you get that port forwarded. So let's come over here and hit bubble chart. And it'll build this nice bubble chart to tell you who you're connected to. And I am connected to 5778888, which it has a private node connected to it. So, and let's go one step further. Let me log into the Preston Supermon remotely. We'll cover this in a future video, boys and girls. It is connected to me and itself. It's private node, so let me log into it. And I will connect, I'll connect it to the Crusader hub, which is 576331. And that Crusader hub is hooked into Jason KC5HWB's ham radio 2.0 hub down in Grapevine, Texas. So we go back to our node we just built. And now hit the bubble chart. Now you can see this nice big bubble chart of all the computers that are hooked together. And yours, the bubble chart that you've clicked on will be in blue. 576333, the frequency, KD5FMU, in anywhere USA, because I don't know where this node's going to go yet. There's the coordinates for near me. And I am connected into the 57788 repeater in... It says Okmulgee because that's where the link radio is, but the repeater's actually in Preston, Oklahoma, about 10 miles away. That's the private node. And then over here is the Crusader hub, which is a radioless node in Okmulgee, and I've got to change the location for that, but it is connected into Jason's hub in Grapevine, Texas. 43136, the ham radio 2.0 hub. It's a cloud hub, and it's mighty. It is mighty indeed. But several other people have connected their nodes and repeaters into him, and when one of us talks, we all talk. Let's say, for instance, here, this... Oh, it doesn't look like Brad's connected right now, but nonetheless, any one of these nodes, if they are a repeater and anybody driving by is talking on that repeater, not actually on the internet, their voice and info will go through this whole hub, and everybody listening will hear them and can talk back to them. That's the beauty of Allstar. You can connect many systems in a flash, and it doesn't have to be permanent. I connect automatically to a net every night in Seattle, Washington, 11 p.m. my time, but it's 9 p.m. their time. They have 3 nets a day at the PSRG, the Puget Sound repeater group. And every Saturday morning, I connect to the Philadelphia Allstar hub at 27225, and I join in with the the Delaware Valley OMIC net. OMIC stands for Ohio, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and Kentucky ham radio group. Long history behind it, and I'm still learning it. But I'm telling you what, I connect this hub to this hub every Saturday morning it's at 10 a.m. Central Time. They're at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Eastern Time. They start their nets at 11, but it's 10 a.m. our time. Great bunch of guys. I have a wonderful net with them every week, and I've learned several things. They've forgotten more about ham radio than I'll ever know. Nonetheless, great bunch of guys. So, what have we achieved today? Well, we've got our Allstar node radio hooked up. We've got our sound fob from Techno by George hooked to the radio, and also into our Raspberry Pi. And we've got it functioning in a basic mode with Supermon 1 controlling the node. In the next video, we will cover installing Supermon 2 and customizing it. We can do a few customizations here with Allmon by going to Control. Is it Control? No, it's Configuration Editor. That's what it is. We're going to go up here to Configuration Editor and global.inc and hit Edit File. And this is a read only, so we can't edit that from here. We got to do that from somewhere else. I forgot about that. So what we're going to do, we're going to return the index, we're going to close this window, and we're going to open our SSH session back up. Oh, I messed it up. We're going to go down to number 9. So we're going to go to CD srv/http/supermon/enter that directory, and we do have a global.inc, and we're going to go nano space global.inc. And now we've got some information here. We just need to come down here to where it says $call, where it says your call, and you just leave the quotes, but take those words out and put in your call sign. Come down to your name, leave the quotes in place. And you can put your location here. Boy, I can smell great. I can spell great. And I'm going to leave that there. I'll leave the background color for now. I'm going to change the local zip code to my local zip code. Hit Control X. Yes to save. Enter to exit. And once you've done that, leave the session open if you want to. Go back to your Supermon file and refresh it. Then you can come up here and say, hey, and then look what I put the U in FMU at a lowercase by accident. Then the Crusader Castle, 2-meter node, blah, blah, blah. You can see that Allstar System Manager. I was able to customize these items here. Gives it just a little bit more something. We'll exit out of here. And exit out. All right. That should do it for video part 2. Part 1 has 2 videos, I know. It got a little long. I'm a little windy. You're going to pick up on this. I talk a lot. It is what it is, but I'm trying to do better. Don't forget, I got some more giveaways up and coming. And maybe right up here, you'll see the winner of the Aubrey AR730 radio, which is a nifty little radio all in all. Don't get me wrong, it is a CCR. It was only 51 bucks and change, but it was a neat little experience, to tell you the truth, and packed with features. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not your all-star, I mean, it's not your superstar, top-of-the-line, name brand, top 3 radio, but, you know, if you're just starting out, it's perfect. It's perfect for just starting out. Maybe a review coming soon on the Quanchang UV-K5. Interesting little CCR. And don't get me wrong, this is not going to be my whole career. My whole career in ham radio Crusader world is not going to be just reviewing a bunch of little CCR radios. We've done most of the FTM 500. We're still going on that, waiting for that firmware upgrade to get here so we can encode our DTMF correctly. Otherwise, that radio is the best radio in the truck that I've ever had. And I ain't looking back. I'm not sure I'll ever get rid of that thing, because it's a darn good radio, and it's rock solid. So anyway, this is Freddie Mac, your ham radio Crusader, saying 7 3s. May the good signals be yours, and ham on, y'all.